Hey guys, the Horror Man back with my video response to the vampire tag. This vampire tag was created by CarnageCandyy, and I was tagged by my buddy erschen. I will leave both of their links below. Please be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Question number 1. What is your favorite vampire film and why? I have to go with nostalgia on this one and say The Lost Boys. This is probably my most watched vampire film of all time. I watched this so many times growing up. I absolutely love it. It's one of my all-time favorite horror films. In my top 20. It's fantastic. You know, no sparkly vampires in this one. You got a great cast. I'm a big fan of the Corys. I watched all their movies growing up. You know, this one is no exception. Love this movie all around. Great 80s atmosphere. I love the carnival setting in the beginning. I just love the somewhat cheesiness to it. You know, like the saxophone player in the band. Just classic stuff. But if I have to choose another one, I'm also going to say Subspecies. Love this movie as well. Radu is such a creepy vampire, and I'll actually be using these two movies in other responses in this video. Question number 2. Are vampires better than werewolves? Well, I actually answered this question in reverse in the werewolf tag when we were asked, are werewolves better than vampires? And in that video, I answered that I believe vampires are better than werewolves. So I'm going to stick with that, and I'll give a different reason this time. I like vampire films a whole lot more than I like werewolf films. Good enough reason? I think so. Question number 3. Who is the most brutal vampire? Well, I know a lot of people are going to say 30 Days of Night, and for good reason. They probably are the most brutal vampires ever on screen. I don't think anybody can really debate that. But since this is probably going to get a lot of attention in this tag, I'm going to include some others as well. And you know what? Radu, in Subspecies once again, he's no slouch. He's definitely a brutal vampire. So I want to mention him as well. But that's not my final answer. I would say the most brutal vampire, in my opinion, is Dwight Renfield from The Night Flyer. Look at that guy. Question number 4. What is your favorite vampire transformation? One that has always stuck with me is Edward Herrmann's character, Max, from The Lost Boys. When he kind of just turns quickly at the end and you see that transformation. You know, it was just sudden, but it always kind of creeped me out as a kid. And it's just something, I don't know, something unsettling about it. You know, of all the vampire transformations, that is just one that has always stuck with me. But it's still not quite my favorite. My favorite vampire transformation comes from an episode of Tales from the Crypt called Mornin' Mess, starring Steven Weber and Rita Wilson. It's the ghoul transformation scene, and it's just awesome. Rather than transforming into vampires, these ghouls wear human disguises and rip their skin off like masks. Question number 5. What is the silliest or worst vampire movie ever made? While I don't know if I would call it the worst ever made, the worst that I own is this one right here. The Twilight Saga, New Moon. I enjoy the first one. I don't like the second one. Question number 6. What is the best vampire comedy or parody? My favorite would have to be The Fearless Vampire Killers. It's an older film, but I've always enjoyed this one. It's a lot of fun, and that's what I'm going with. Question number 7. What is the first vampire film you ever saw? It has to be The Lost Boys. I don't remember seeing any vampire films before seeing this one, so that's what I'm going with. And the 8th and final question, who is your favorite vampire, real or fictional? Well, I don't personally know any real vampires, so I'm gonna have to go with fictional on this one. I have a few choices. I gotta start with one of the first vampires ever on screen, Count Orlok from Nosferatu. Max Schreck is absolutely amazing in this role. For a silent film, it is just genuinely creepy. You know, I'm not a huge fan of silent cinema. I'm just, you know, it's just not my thing. You know, I'm a slasher fan. I want to see, you know, cheesy dialogue and cheesy acting and blood and gore and all that great stuff. But I can appreciate a good film. And Nosferatu is a fantastic movie. I love this film. I love the atmosphere, but most of all, I love Max Schreck as Count Orlok. As a Stephen King fan, I also have to mention Kurt Barlow from Salem's Lot, another very creepy vampire. Look at that guy. Had to mention him here. But my favorite vampire of all time is this guy right here, Radu. Showing it one more time, Subspecies. I told you it would come up multiple times in this video, and here it is for the third and final time. I love this film, and a huge part of that reason is Radu. He is the perfect vampire. He sort of has the Count Orlok look, minus the bald head. He's got the long fingers, the long fingernails. He's got these menacing fangs and a genuinely creepy voice. You know, that raspy voice. So awesome. And not only is he devious and evil, he kills his own father and he kills his own brother, but there is a deeper side to him as well. You know, by the third film, in Bloodlust Subspecies 3, which is actually my favorite in the series, you know, you can see the connection between Radu and Michelle, who's the heroine of the series. You know, it's something that just goes beyond what we see on screen. He genuinely cares for her. You know, as much as he's sort of ruined her life, you can see that he definitely has a love for her. And it's subtle, but it's there. It's a fantastic performance, and Radu is my favorite vampire of all time. So there you have it, guys, my video response to Sean Erschen. Thanks for tagging me, buddy. I had a good time with this one. The tag was created by CarnageCandyy, so I will leave both links below. Please be sure to subscribe. I'm not sure who's been tagged yet, so I'm just going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to tag my buddy Ted from the horror section. If you haven't been tagged already, buddy, you're it. Let's see your response. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it.